Hello and welcome to the English Podcast Lab. I'm Mike, and today we're going deep on something I think we all struggle with sometimes, building confidence in yourself.
That's a big one, for sure.
Yeah, so to help us unpack all this, I'm joined by Sarah, who's amazing at making even the most complex ideas super clear.
Glad to be here, Mike.
So let's be real for a second.
Okay.
We've all had times where we just don't feel confident, right?
Oh, yeah,
Like
absolutely.
it can almost feel like this weight holding you back, impacting mental health, stopping you from really going after what you want.
It's true. Those feelings are completely normal. Everybody has them.
Yeah, sure.
But I think it's important to understand what we're actually dealing with here.
Okay.
Because a lot of times people kind of mix up self-esteem and self-confidence.
Oh, that's a great point.
Yeah.
So what's the difference then?
Well, self-esteem is like how we view ourselves, our sense of worth.
Oh,
But self-confidence is more about trusting our abilities to actually do specific things. It's that belief that says, like, hey, I can handle this even when things get tough.
so it's like the difference between thinking I'm a good person versus I'm good at giving presentations.
You got it. And a big part of this whole confidence thing is that inner critic,
Oh, yeah.
that we all have. That voice can be so harsh, telling us we're not good enough,
This is the worst.
not smart enough. We're going to fail before we even start.
And it feels like social media just makes that voice even louder
Oh, for sure.
with everyone's, perfect curated feeds.
Yeah,
Makes you feel inadequate,
definitely.
fuels the self-doubt even more.
It can be a recipe for disaster, for sure.
So how do we quiet that critic down then and actually start building some real confidence?
Well, one really key concept is something called self-efficacy.
Okay.
And this is basically the belief in our ability to succeed
Okay.
in specific situations.
So not just like a general, I feel confident,
Yeah.
but more like, I can do this particular thing.
Exactly. And the cool thing is that self-efficacy is something we can develop and grow.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all of this fits together.
Yeah.
So if we believe we can handle something, we're way more likely to approach it with confidence, right?
Totally.
Like learning to drive, I guess.
Exactly.
When you first start, you might feel nervous, unsure of yourself.
Sure.
But the more you practice, the more positive feedback you get from your instructor or friends,
Right.
the more confident you become.
That's it.
Like, hey, I can actually do this.
And that applies to all sorts of things, right? Like
Right.
giving presentations.
Oh.
If you've done it successfully in the past, you're probably going to feel more confident doing it again.
Makes sense.
If you see someone achieving something you admire, it can inspire you to believe you can do it too.
Right.
But what about those situations that are brand new,
Okay.
where
yeah.
you don't have any experience to draw on?
That can feel pretty daunting to face something you've never done before.
Totally. And that's where things get interesting,
Like-
because there's all this research about using visualization and alter egos.
With alter egos, like superheroes.
Well, kind of.
Okay.
Researchers have found that even just imagining yourself in the future, like successfully going through a challenge, can actually boost your confidence now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So just by picturing ourselves as confident, successful,
Yeah.
we can start to embody those qualities.
It's powerful stuff.
That's amazing.
And some people even create a separate persona, like an alter ego that embodies those traits they want to develop.
Oh, I like that.
It's kind of like giving yourself permission to step outside your comfort zone and try on a new identity for a bit.
That reminds me of this quote by E. Cummings.
Oh, yeah.
Once we believe in ourselves, we can risk curiosity, wonder, spontaneous delight, or any experience that reveals the human spirit.
I love that.
Confidence seems like the key to unlocking so much within us.
It is.
But I think sometimes we get caught up in this idea that confidence means never feeling fear or insecurity. Is that even realistic?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
True confidence isn't about being perfect or never having doubts. It's more about acknowledging those feelings
Right.
and choosing to act anyway.
So not pretending to be something we're not.
Exactly.
It's about being our authentic selves,
Yes.
even with our flaws.
Truly confident people don't need to prove anything to anyone. They're comfortable with who they are, and they don't need that constant validation from others.
It's that quiet confidence that comes from knowing your worth and trusting your abilities.
Exactly.
And does that tie into the idea of locus of control at all? Whether we believe our success is determined by us or by things outside of our control.
Totally. Think of it this way.
Okay.
Do you believe you're the captain steering your own ship? Or are you just a passenger being tossed around by the waves?
If you believe fate or luck controls everything, then you're less likely to take risks, right?
Right. And when you believe you have the power to shape your own outcomes, you're more likely to face challenges with a sense of purpose and determination.
It's like studying for an exam.
Yeah.
If you've prepared well, you'll walk in feeling way more confident than if you hadn't.
Exactly. Preparation builds confidence, whether it's for a test, a presentation, or even just reflecting on your strengths.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But it's not just about those victories, is it?
You're right. Confidence isn't built solely on winning.
Okay.
It's forged through challenges and setbacks, too.
So it's not about avoiding failure, it's about learning from it and growing.
Exactly. Failure is a natural part of learning and growth. It's not the opposite of success. It's a stepping stone on the path to it.
So true.
Even something as simple as dressing nicely can boost your confidence.
Really? I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah.
It's not about vanity or expensive clothes, right?
Not at all. It's about feeling good about yourself and projecting an image that reflects your inner strength and confidence.
Okay.
When you wear something that makes you feel good, you stand a little taller, walk with more purpose.
I get it.
It can actually change how you feel on the inside.
And all of this kind of ties into living in accordance with your principles, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
When your actions align with your values, it creates this sense of integrity and self-respect that just naturally boosts your confidence.
I completely agree. It's about knowing who you are, what you stand for, and living a life that reflects those core beliefs.
Like the golden rule, treat others as you would like to be treated.
Yes.
Such a simple concept, but living by it can really impact our confidence and self-worth.
Absolutely.
And you know what else can help boost confidence?
What's that?
Speaking slowly.
That's right. When we speak slowly and clearly, it projects a sense of calm and authority. It can make us seem more confident even if we're feeling nervous inside.
And it gives us time to collect our thoughts, choose our words carefully, which can make our communication so much more effective.
Exactly. But in the end, it all comes down to taking action.
Yeah.
Confidence isn't something we just get. It's something we actively create through our choices and actions.
It's about being willing to try stepping outside our comfort zones, accepting that we might stumble along the way.
Yeah. You got it. And there's this great tool called the 5-second rule, which is all about breaking through hesitation and taking action before self-doubt can creep in.
Oh, I'm intrigued. How does that work?
It's super simple, but really effective. When you find yourself hesitating or overthinking, just count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just do it.
Wow, that's so simple but powerful.
Right.
It's like giving your brain a little jump start to get moving.
It is. It's a way to bypass that inner critic and tap into your natural ability to act decisively.
It reminds me of something I read recently.
Oh, yeah.
It said, think what you'd say to a friend in a similar situation. We often give far better advice to others than we do to ourselves.
It's so true. We're often much harder on ourselves than we would ever be on a friend.
Yeah.
We need to extend that same kindness and compassion to ourselves.
Absolutely. We're all works in progress. That's okay.
Yeah.
We're all on this journey of growth and self-discovery.
Yeah.
And it's by embracing those imperfections that we become truly confident and fulfilled.
It's about treating ourselves with the same understanding and support that we would offer to someone we care about. It's about treating ourselves with the same understanding and support that we would offer to someone we care about.
It's like being your own best friend, right?
Exactly. And, building confidence isn't like a one-time thing.
Right.
It's an ongoing process that takes effort and attention.
So it's like building a muscle.
Yeah.
The more you work it, the stronger it gets.
That's a great way to think about it. And just like with any workout, you need to find what works best for you. Experiment with different approaches, see what resonates with you, and then make it a part of your routine.
So it's not about finding that quick fix.
Right.
It's more about making those small changes consistently over time.
Exactly. Those little steps add up to create a more confident you.
I see. And celebrating those small wins along the way is important too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Recognizing our progress is so important. It keeps us motivated. And it reinforces those positive beliefs about ourselves.
It's like giving yourself a pat on the back for a job well done.
Exactly. It's about acknowledging those moments where you pushed yourself, even if it was just a tiny bit.
I think it's easy to get caught up focusing on the end goal, that big dream.
Yeah.
and forget to appreciate all the progress we're making along the way.
You're right. It's so important to celebrate those milestones, no matter how small they might seem, because they're all contributing to your overall growth.
And patience is key too, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
Building confidence doesn't happen overnight.
Definitely not.
It takes time and effort and a lot of self-compassion.
You got it. It's a journey, not a destination. And there will be setbacks along the way. Everyone has them.
For sure.
The key is to not let those setbacks define. You see them as opportunities to learn and just keep moving forward.
It's about embracing the ups and downs.
Yeah.
And trusting that with each step, you're becoming a more confident you.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Well, I've learned so much from this deep dive.
I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you for sharing your insights with us.
Of course, it's been my pleasure.
We've covered a lot today, but before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question.
Oh, I like this.
Imagine having a conversation with your younger self.
Okay.
What advice would you give them about building confidence? And how would they react to the person you've become?
That's such a powerful exercise.
Right.
It really encourages you to reflect and appreciate how far you've come.
It's a reminder that we're all constantly evolving and growing, and confidence is something we're all working on together.
That's so true.
So on that note, do you have any final thoughts for our listeners today?
I would just say, remember that confidence is a choice. It's not something that you're just born with. It's a skill that you can develop with practice and perseverance. So start small, celebrate those wins, and never give up on yourself.
That's great advice. Thank you so much for joining me today.
It's been a pleasure, Mike.
And to all of you listening, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into building confidence. We hope you found it insightful and empowering. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the English Podcast Lab YouTube channel for more deep dives into fascinating topics. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep believing in yourself.
It can be so eye-opening to look back and see just how much we've all grown over time.
Yeah, and it's a good reminder to be kind to ourselves. You know,
Really?
acknowledge our efforts and celebrate all the wins.
Absolutely. We can be our own worst critics sometimes.
For sure.
It's so important to treat ourselves with the same kindness and support that we'd offer to a friend.
So true. Well, I think we've covered a ton today about building confidence. Any final thoughts for our listeners before we wrap up?
I would just encourage everyone listening to remember that confidence, it really is a choice. It's not something people are born with. It's a skill that we can all build with practice and perseverance.
I like that.
So start small, celebrate those wins, and never stop believing in yourself.
Wonderful advice. Thank you so much for joining me today.
It's been a pleasure, Mike.
And to all of you listening out there, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into building confidence. We hope you found it insightful and empowering. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the English Podcast Lab YouTube channel for more deep dives into fascinating topics. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep believing in yourself.